Hi guys, I'm Jessie and you're watching Foxtales. So today I'm going to be reviewing one of the best books I have ever read. Ever. And that beautiful book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. Oh my god! Is this book like perfect or what? I don't know. Well, just kidding, I do know it is perfect because it is. I just loved every single second of every single page of this book. It was amazing and I was so sad when it was over, so I will definitely be continuing on with the series, but first let me tell you my thoughts on Throne of Glass. And thanks to the handy little pronunciation guide that's in the back of this book, hopefully I won't butcher these words too badly, but there's some pretty fancy ones in here, so forgive me if I do say things wrong. So the story starts off with an 18-year-old girl named Celaena Sardothien, and she is the world's most notorious assassin. At 17, she was imprisoned and sent to work in the salt mine. In the meantime, the king decides he needs to start his own competition so he can find his new assassin. All of the people in the king's court get to pick one champion who is their person who they're picking to put into the competition. And the prince decides to pick Celaena. And the prince asks her if she will compete in the competition, and of course she says yes because nobody wants to live in the salt mines slaving away every day of their lives. No, so of course she says yes. But each week there will be a test, and whoever places last in the test of all the champions will either be sent home or they will go back to whatever prison they came from. And if you win this competition, you become the king's champion and you will work for him for 4 years, and after that you are free to go. You don't have to go back to your prison, you win your own freedom, and this sounds like a pretty good deal to Celaena. She's gonna fight really hard for her freedom, okay? Some things ensue, and there's things that you didn't think would happen, and there's, other stuff, which I won't talk about because that'll start to get spoilery, and I don't want you to get it spoiled for this book because it was so good. So the rest of this video isn't really going to be spoilery to the plot, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I thought of each of the characters. So if you want to be completely surprised about the characters, I would suggest leaving, or you can stay, and like I said before, there won't be any spoils to the plot line, just my thoughts on the characters. Okay, let's start with Celaena. I loved her. Loved her from the very beginning. Page 3 was when I fell in love with her. Let me read you a quote from the book. This is when I fell in love with her in this entire book. Page 3. Okay, so right now the captain of the guard is taking Celaena to see the prince in this building. They passed a series of wooden doors that she'd seen a few minutes ago. If she wanted to escape, she simply had to turn left at the next hallway and take the stairs down 3 flights. The only thing all this intended disorientation had accomplished was to familiarize her with the building. Idiots. I'm sorry, if she doesn't sound like the most smart character you've ever read, I don't know. So just tell me what character you think is smarter than her, because I haven't found one. When they're taking her anywhere, she looks around to find ways to escape so she'll never be trapped. The first thing she does is try to find a weapon or make a weapon so she's never disarmed. She is always thinking one step ahead of everybody else, and that's so fresh to read about, especially nowadays and age of protagonist characters who are just I know everything, and oh my god, if I just go down this dark hallway, whatever, I'll be fine because I know everything. No, she takes time and thinks about her decisions and choices, and she doesn't make any rash decisions. You'd think an assassin would just be weapons and you wouldn't think they'd have a culture, but she does. I mean, she reads books and she knows things, and she's not just a one-sided character. She has so many different aspects to her, and she's so interesting to read about every time we get a little more piece of her backstory, and that's what just made me keep reading this book so fast, because I wanted to know more about her and where she came from and what made her like she is now. So those are my feels on her. I give her an A++ because I love her. I mean, look at her. Look at her. She's so cool. So cool. Okay, so let's talk about Dorian. He's the crown prince. And he's kind of an interesting character. I did like him. He and Celaena had a good like back and forth banter a lot. Like I really enjoyed reading between the two of them. He has a reputation for being a ladies' man, so that kind of made me kind of like, on him. I didn't like him as much as I wanted to, but I do think the prince has a good heart. I just think he's kind of naive about the world, and I think over the course of the series he will become more of a well-rounded character. Okay, so Chaol is the captain of the guard, and it is his job to watch over Celaena and kind of protect her from other people, but also protect other people from her. Like he's kind of cast with the job of overseeing her and training her during this competition. I loved Chaol. I don't know why, but I just did. I liked that he was serious. I liked that he still kept his seriousness throughout the story. Like, it wouldn't have seemed real if all of a sudden he just was kind of like, oh my god, I trust you so much. Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, he kept his composure, and he was always very professional, and that made him feel more real to me. And I still I liked the scenes with him and Celaena too, as much as I liked the scenes with Celaena and Dorian. They seem to keep more of their own character, like they seem to stay more themselves. It made him seem more believable as captain of the guard. I mean, it's his job to guard people and watch over things and, you know, take care of people. So that kind of made sense for him as his character and Celaena together. Okay, so on the back of this cover it says 2 men love her, okay? It's on the cover, so this isn't really a spoiler. So I'm sure you can guess which the 2 men are. And so there is kind of a love triangle between Celaena, Dorian, and Chaol. And I have to say I am Team Chaol because I just think I just liked them together and how they were together. And I don't know, personally I liked Chaol more than Dorian, but I could see how Dorian could be better for Celaena. And I don't know, I could be easily swayed. And also the developments in the love triangle, they seem very easy, and you know, because sometimes things like that can start to get really forced. But one of the things that really sets this book apart from other YA books right now is that the love triangle takes a super backseat to the other plots of the book. It is there, and you know it's there, and it's interesting to read about when it comes up, but other things are more important, and they're more important to Celaena. Another thing on the back of this book is a princess from a faraway land will befriend her. So again, I'm not really counting this as a spoiler, but these are just kind of my thoughts on the character. I did like the princess. I thought she was a cool character, especially with the other things going on, like, because everyone else was in on this competition happening at the castle, and she wasn't. So she was kind of a different kind of fresh breath of fresh air from that. It was nice for Celaena to have a friendship with this princess. Like, it was good for her because she didn't really have any girlfriends before. And you can see how that also helps Celaena, help push her to get through this competition and have more support than just being by herself all the time. This is the character I disliked the most. I disliked her enough that I'm going to make sure I say her name right because she... ugh. Kaltain Rompier. Just, oh my god, I couldn't stand her. She's a lady of the court, okay, and she's just like, oh my god, Prince Dorian, I need you to marry me because I love you. I'm like, oh my god. She needed to go, okay? She needs to go. I couldn't stand her. I was like, who even are you? No, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to get out. You can get out right now. So the last character I'm going to talk about is Arobynn, and he is King of the Assassins. He was the character who taught Celaena to become the assassin she is today, and he basically taught her like everything she knows. And in that teaching, there was kind of some not the best teaching methods. Yeah, if you did that today, you'd be in jail. I think I need to actually, like, get a feel of dialogue from him, like, talk to him, before I can finally make, like, my final choices on how I feel about him. I don't know, what were your thoughts on him? Because I don't know. So those are all my feels on Throne of Glass. I will definitely be reading Crown of Midnight, and then Heir of Fire, and then the other books that will come out. It's an epic book, okay? It's an epic book. You should read it if you haven't read it. And if you have read it, comment down below what your feels are on it because I'd love to talk with you guys about it because I loved this book so much. Oh my god. It was so good. It was so good. Books are fun to talk about with other people. So let's talk about it because I loved this book and I have so many feels about it. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!